Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be making sourdough boules using the Autolyse technique. Autolyse is simply the mixing of flour and water in a bread recipe and then allowing for a rest period in between before adding a starter, yeast, salt, or any other ingredients. So to begin today, I'm adding 550 grams of water to the bowl. Next, we will be adding 850 grams of flour of choice. I usually add a combination of unbleached all-purpose flour, bread flour, and a whole grain flour of choice, whether it be whole wheat, spelt, etc. The choice is yours. In today's recipe, I am just using unbleached all-purpose flour and bread flour. Okay, let's mix our flours and our water together. Just want to keep mixing through until there's no dry bits remaining. Just a little drop more. There we go. Perfect. All right, I'm going to cover it with a wet towel, let it rest, and we'll be back in about an hour and a half. Okay, here we go, just covering it up now. Our wet towel, and we'll be back. So we're back, and I've added 170 grams of starter, and we're going to put in 21 grams of salt. So, of course, with wet hands, it's much easier to get the salt to dissolve, and I'm just dipping it in with the starter. And I will keep going like this until I don't feel any salt remaining at all. And I will keep going to my clean bowl of water off to the side, dipping my hands, making sure they're nice and wet, and coming back to mix more. I know normally I cut away and I don't make you all watch all the kneading and stuff, but today I thought it would be good to show a really thorough mixing and how to keep going until you get this dough and starter and salt all mixed really thoroughly. Trying to remember back to when I was first learning and giving some extra instructions. So I hope that it is appreciated and that I'm not boring you too much with it. Thanks. Also, once I flip it over, you can see that I'm taking my hands and I'm kind of going underneath the dough with my fingers. That will also help you feel if there's any salt left to dissolve as well. Oh, getting on my nerves with the noise. I'm hoping it's not bothering you too much with the bowl banging against the board there. So yeah, just carrying on, going underneath the dough, feeling for the salt to be gone. And of course, if you're at home and you're doing this, you want to turn on some music to help you get into a rhythm and just keep going, go for it. Little pincher method here, squeezing all everything together. And scoop it under again. And if it tears like this, no big deal. I'll just keep working until I get it into a nice smooth ball again. And then we're going to let it rest again. So yeah, just continuing to go with the dough until I get it smooth. I'm starting to feel like there's no more salt granules left. Everything's dissolved in. That's what we want. And just get this mixture a little bit more. And then, of course, we're going to cover it up and rest it again. But for now, I hope that you appreciate just this little bit of extra detail. And of course, I just keep wetting my hands with the clean water here. Just much easier to handle the dough if your hands are wet, so it's not sticking to you so much. So I guess my main point here in showing you how much work there is to getting the starter and the salt mixed through after you do an autolyse is why I prefer to do the fermentolyse. Now that said, when I get a new mixer, because I'm in between mixers right now, and I do like mixing by hand, but if I had a mixer, I think that I would do more of the autolyse. But because it's an extended amount of work here, as you can see, I just prefer to do the fermentolyse for now. But I hope that you all will try this. Don't be deterred. I hope you will be encouraged to try it because definitely both ways work and you'll find which one that you like the best. Okay, that feels pretty good. We're going to cover it up now with our wet towel again. We're going to let it rest for 35 minutes and we'll be back to do our first stretch and fold. So when you're ready to begin your stretch and folds, you may want to transfer your dough over to a light oil container like I have here to do your stretch and folds. Here we go. If I can get the dough out of the container, let's see. Ooh. Okay. You all can have a little chuckle at this part. Yes, it's definitely stuck in there pretty good. Okay. So if you do it this way, it's going to be a lot easier to stretch and fold. So just pull out like this. So that one's good. We're going to put our cover on it now and let it rest for another 35 minutes. We're back for our second stretch and fold. I'm going to do the coil fold this time. Pull up, let it go under itself. Come on. There we go. So I am including a second example of the coil fold today here. Just to make sure everyone gets a chance to practice at it. Here we go. So now we're doing the coil fold, pulling it up underneath itself again. 2 more times, so 1 and 2. You can see that the dough is starting to get a little bit stronger as well with each stretch and fold. I hope you can see that. All right. So we're going to let it rest for another 35 minutes and we'll be back. So we're back for our third and final stretch and fold. Dough is looking really good. So let's get this done. Up. So I've taken our total dough weight. It's going to be approximately 803 grams each. And we're going to divide the dough now. I'm not going to make you watch all of the dividing of the dough here. It's just a quick example. And then we're going to move on. So now that our dough has been divided, I'm just going to get the scale and everything out of the way. Clean up the work surface so that we can lightly flour it. Today we're going to be adding additions to our loaves. So let me just get this cleaned up. So today our inclusion loaf is going to be garlic chive rosemary cheddar. A big shout out to Tara and Brad for all the positive feedback and all the testing that they've done. My loaves have definitely improved and I truly appreciate your help. And I'm definitely putting more cheddar in the loaf this time. We did a test a couple of weeks ago and we found that it wasn't quite enough cheddar. Cheddar does melt into the bread, but it doesn't make it any less tasty. So we definitely want to get a lot of it in here. this side, fold it in, right on over. Just a little touch. Because the friend that I'm making this for really likes garlic and herb. So we're going to accommodate her. All right. We'll bring this over. Over our inclusions or our additions. Yeah. Oops. First chives again. Let's go this way. We don't want to overwork this once we put the additions or inclusions in because it'll start to poke through the dough. So I'm going to do a little pre-shape here. Just going to finish rounding this up a little bit more, very gently. Going to put it up in the corner of the board there now. So guys, I'm not going to make you watch me do the second piece of dough. You have the idea now. I just want to mention that the boules can have a lot of different inclusions, and at the end of this episode, I may include some pictures of different toppings or different inclusions we've done, just so that you can get an idea of what you might like to do. Gently round it. And we're going to put it right into the benten here. Ooh. So, it'll be a little bit. When you add the inclusions or the additions, sometimes you get a little bit tearing. Try not to worry too much. Just bring your dough over. You can sometimes put them in like earlier, but this is why I wait with these ones because I find they'll try to break through and we don't want that. All right, so that's number one. We don't want anything to stick when we cover it with our little disposable shower head. All right. Right over, and I just pull up on it a little bit. Stick to that. Okay. And yes, I do like to have very clean counter work surface. Okay, so don't want it to stick to the board when I flip it. Second, let's try this again. Again, do not want to overshape here or else you'll have everything popping out on you. Okay, here we are. Phew, 1, 2, 3, go. Push those guys back in. All right. A little bit of stitching, not too much again. Don't want to break through the cheddar and chives, etc. I want that all come out. Very gentle with this one. And cover again. And move it back. So we have them both covered now. We're going to let them sit on the counter for 2 hours. Then we're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight to chill. And we will finish baking them tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. So I've transferred the loaf over to the parchment paper now. We're just going to score it. Nothing too fancy. And move it over to our pot. So then the lid goes on the pot. We're going to bake it in a 486-degree oven for 15 minutes. We'll remove the lid and bake it for 15 minutes more. And here we are, we're done. So I'm just going to move the loaf over to a cooling rack now, and we'll be back when it's completely cooled, and I'll have it sliced to show you what it looks like. So I've sliced the bread. I took a little tiny piece off the end and tried it, and it is really good. I hope you will give it a try, and please stay tuned for more pictures. And as promised, some pictures of previous loaves that we've done. So apple cranberry boule, before and after being sliced. And then cranberry walnut. We've done sesame seed boules, light and dark, both were delicious. This is a multi-seed boule, just to name a few. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Until next time.